Are you ready? Welcome to what could be the most boring series of video shorts ever. I'm making them for a reason. As a village, we need to get together and get our comments to the Peterborough Planning Department very quickly and as soon as possible. This video is made for all the people in Helpston who care about this village and want to make sure that Peterborough Planning Authority makes the right decision when considering the David Wilson home development plans. Over the next few days, I'll be talking to a number of people around the village and finding out what their concerns are and how it's going to impact their daily lives. Hopefully, this will motivate you to register a comment on the planning portal. As a reminder, God, it's raining. As a reminder, you can get to it by typing the following into your browser. Remember where you type in, www.google.com or any kind of other dodgy sites you might be going to. So instead of typing that, just type in the following: bit dot, that's the full stop, right? ly / that's that kind of weird thing, right? And then helpstonhouses bit.ly / Helpston houses, all lowercase, has to be lowercase, and that will automatically take you to this wonderful page on the Peterborough Planning Authority portal, which will have the necessary information about this development and a place where you can object. Let's recap the situation, shall we? Sorry to repeat this if you already know, but if any of you are listening from, I don't know, some weird place like Hum and don't know anything about it, here goes. There are two plots of land between Broadwheel, which is where I am, and West Street, which is over there, that are being made available for development by local landowners about 2 years ago, I guess. The land is packaged in two separate but geographically linked parcels of land, which is really handy if you're into geography because you can use the same colour in that whole space when you colour it in. One is between Broadwheel and West Street, which is here, this kind of lovely area here where Farmer Giles, well, I know it's not Clarkson, but I actually don't know who owns this field, but Farmer Giles has planted some lovely short green grassy stuff that I guess next year will be long green grassy stuff and it'll look beautiful. So that's the first bit of land. The other is roughly where the car garage used to be, roughly opposite the garden centre. Do you remember that car garage? We all used to take our cars there. Anyway, it's that bit of land there, but on the side of the road opposite the garden centre. Anyway, that's another story. A number of people in the village have been harping on and on and on about this for a long time now, so I hope it's not news to you. Full marks, by the way, to the parish council for the way of keeping this top of agenda for so long. In fact, I don't want to spill my tea. Well done. Joe, Sid, rest of heroic parish council, thanks mates, thanks parish council and councillors. That's probably not politically correct. Well done, councillesses and councillors, men and women. Well done, people of the heroic parish council. Anyway, the larger plot of land, this bit here, has been acquired by and bought by David Wilson Homes, or Barrett's, as you may know them. And the other hasn't actually been bought, hasn't got any builder interested as yet. It did. Krusky's Homes, which is a local Peterborough-based company, did express interest to build some social housing homes over there, but they pulled out a couple of months ago. Don't know why. Maybe someone else knows. Probably because, I don't know, they couldn't deal with the arse pits at DWH, David Wilson Homes. Anyhow, DWH have now submitted their plans for the development to the council and they've been reviewed and put out for public consultation. But that's what we get to do our bit now, but we need to be quick as there's a tight timescale on this. In fact, that timescale is slightly less than half the number of days that self-styled zombie of a moron Prime Minister stayed in power for. Sorry, Liz. Okay, moving on before I start to rant. The majority of the village seems to oppose the development as it stands now. It's really important to say that the village consensus is that we can't stop the development in its entirety, and why should we? We need more houses and facilities in the village, right? We are desperate for better facilities for our young adults, teenagers and our children. We need more affordable housing and we need to grow the village community as much as we can, but sustainably. However, what Barratt Homes is offering is none of the above. They're proposing to build 73 new houses in this little space of land. The majority of them will be highly profitable 3 or 4 bedroom houses for large families, sold at prices that locals can't afford. The houses will be crammed into a smaller area and will have almost no open space and absolutely no additional village amenities. Unless you feel, of course, that a postage-sized bit of land with a swing on it is a major addition to our amenities, we get nothing. They give us nothing. Zero. Squat. Sweet F.A. It's time for a beer. Look at the terrible reputation that Barratt Homes have, and you can see why they trade under a new name. You know, David Wilson Homes. It was good. We need to discuss the specifics of why the current plan is such a messed up idea. In 2019, Peterborough City Council published something called a local plan, which outlined the areas that the council would like to focus on from then until 2036. It makes interesting reading. Not. Still, if you have sleepless nights, search for Peterborough Local Plan on Google, and it'll be the first result up there. In that plan, anyway, they defined the package of land that we're talking about, sexily called LP 41.5. And it included another policy called LP 42. Are these names really starting to float your boat? Oh, they are me. LP 42 is important as it specifically details how the village should be developed. Again, Joe, Sid and the rest of the parish council should be congratulated in getting that included, as it's something that we're going to really rely on with reference to our objections. LP 42 is our friend. Anyway, more about that later, maybe even another video. But for now, let's look at the initial problems that we have found when looking at the plans being submitted versus Peterborough City's local plan. Firstly, the local plan has stated that there needs to be a master development plan for the whole site and not just part of it. Well, guess what? What we have now is DWH plan that's just their part of the land. Completely at odds with the local plan. How can that happen? What's more important, Peterborough City Council's well thought out and consulted on local plan, or some greedy commercial builder making loads of dosh by running roughshod over that plan? In fact, the other landowner over there has said that they haven't been involved in any part of the consultations and don't support this application for development. So it really looks like those slippery parboiled eggs David Wilson Homes have just ignored a fundamental part of Peterborough's local plan. Long live LP 42 and the King! What did he say when he met the new PM 8 weeks ago? Dear, oh dear. Okay, moving on. The local plan, and I just want to remind you it was created by Peterborough City Council, states that the development will have up to 82 dwellings, but potentially less depending on the outcome of the traffic survey. I know what you're thinking. Oh yes, I do. They can build 82 dwellings and they're only building 73. What lovely, caring and nice people. Wrong. The thundering volcanic half-twats have failed the most basic of maths tests. You see, the 82 dwellings were the number for the whole plot. Remember that second bit of the land that was also part of the plan, that bit over there? Well, the 82 dwellings included the houses on that plot as well. If you look at the area that Barratts have, the local plan says that they can build about 59 dwellings over here. Yes, the sock puppets have tried it on and jammed in another 23 houses into this space, which will become a swamp later on today, by the way. Dear, oh dear. And, by the way, talking of people less dense than the cloud of green hydrogen that's not being used in their developments, let's talk about building density. They plan to build 73 dwellings with a density of 35.8 dwellings per square hectare. Or hectare. Or hectare. A square hectare. I know. WTF does that mean? Simply, it means that dwellings will be squashed together. really squashed together. So, isn't that the same with any development nowadays? Don't know. But I can tell you that it's raining. I can tell you that it's a higher density than any other medium-sized village in the local plan. Anywhere around Peterborough. Anywhere. We're the highest density. In case you're wondering, you live in a medium village. Medium. That's in size. As opposed to the central figure in a seance. Which we aren't, are we? Or I don't think we are. Okay, so the development will be more crushed together than any other development for a medium village. Oh, that's not good, is it? But you're ready for this. The squash density of these Muppets development is higher than most of the larger villages in Peterborough. What just happened? What have we done to deserve this? Dear, oh dear. One more thing and I'll move on. Remember that the number of houses would be dependent on the outcome of the traffic survey? Look at the traffic report, and one point that will poke you in the eye like a pigeon on heat when it sees another sexy Helpston pigeon. Does that analogy work? Maybe not. Don't care anymore. Anyway, the point is that that statement is made that the longest recorded queue at the level crossing was 8 minutes. What DeLorean Back to the Future fuckery is this? Even Stephen Hawking would be confused by this measurement of time. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. The next point I want to raise will be fun. The local plan states that, are you ready? The provision of satisfactory education facilities with the assumption that should school need to expand, land within the site would be utilised unless there is a convincing evidence that an alternative solution would provide greater benefits. I didn't memorise that bit, by the way. That bit I had to read from a little post-it note. Soaking wet bit of stuff to think down there. Anyway, guess what the massive farts have done? David Williams haven't allocated any land to the school. Not an inch. Not enough for one of our lovely children to pick up a ukulele and play it, even on one foot. In fact, I'm going to demonstrate this. This is, and I'm sorry, John, for this, but here we go. I can't even play a ukulele on one foot here. They can't do that. They can't do that. They won't even be able to have that enjoyment that I just had. Oh, terrible situation. Those of you who came to the 2 David Wilson Homes farcical open events at the village hall will know how strongly this village feels about our wonderful school. It's the most oversubscribed school in Peterborough. 32.5% more applications than we have spaces in that lovely school. Let me repeat that. It's the most oversubscribed school in Peterborough, primary school in Peterborough. 32.5 more applications than places. That's 32.5% of lovely kids around us who we can't put into that school because it's oversubscribed. It's a primary school that I die to send my kids to. Yet, the exhausting amount of real-world research that DWH have done seems to indicate that it is undersubscribed. What complete bollocks! How those men in grey suits that have been made from roadkill that even our very own Ian has left alone in the road to die can be so wrong is completely beyond me. Unless they're trying to pull a fast one. You think? The schools are remarkable academic results, are as important to as the pastoral care it provides to our children. It's why it's 32% oversubscribed. Duh! The school and its children make this village a happy place. It's youthful, it's an enjoyable place to live, even for grumpy old men like me. If Barrett gets this plan approved, the school will be landlocked. There will be no room to expand, no future. As a small village school, it will struggle financially. It, of course, has the support of the Soak Academy Trust, but needs to expand. And there are no funds currently to help it expand. Education government funding is all about the number of pupils. Without the pupil counts in the school will slowly die. And without the school here, will Helpston be the same? Oh yes, and another brilliant bit of brain pee being urinated out of the David Wilson housing's head is that the alternative solution will be to taxi village children to nearby schools. Oh yes, they want you to put your lovely cute little child in a taxi with a stranger danger to take them to a school somewhere over there where none of their village friends go to. Honestly, this school issue is an absolute disaster for the village. All because the men in black spandex split crutch panties won't give a few of their billions of quid of profit to our school. And did I mention that Peterborough Council spent £233,000 on taxis for kids last academic year? In what world is that money well spent? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh, seem to have dropped it. Right, where was I? Oh yeah, did I mention the transport assessment? This is what the Peterborough plan says. Transport assessment must demonstrate safe and sustainable access to the site and any necessary improvements to the transport network. Transport assessment. I looked up that word assessment in a dictionary. Directory of words in a dictionary. Wow. Transport assessment. I looked up the word assessment in a dictionary. Apparently, you have to assess something to do an assessment. So this is what happened. The slippery fuckworms from planet Skidmark commissioned someone to do the transport survey. That way they figured that it would be a third party and therefore would be acceptable. I really do need something stronger. Guess what? They found that there would be no obvious increase in traffic. No details, just a summary that will be no obvious traffic increase. Lying beetle penises. Well, down in the real world, over here, and apologies to the insinuations that Skidmark isn't a real planet, absolutely no need for you to zap me with your make my waist 3 inches wider every couple of years, Ray. Again. I'm losing it because it's raining and I'm getting really angry. In the real world, having a development that increases the dwellings count in a village by around 20% does have an impact. Unless they all use electric flying saucers, which is unlikely, as DWH is too wankily cheap to put in electric chargers in every house that they're building here. You may want to look up the Barratt Home sustainability policy for a laugh. Phew. 82 new houses equals another, what, 200 vehicles? I'd really expect the transport assessment to look at the impact on the traffic on Broadwheel Road, that's where I am now, Woodgate, a little bit further down. What about cycle access, pedestrian safety, the infamous level crossing? And what about the air quality there, which is higher than the World Health Organization limit because of queuing cars? That's okay though, because there's only a queue for 8 minutes. Lol. Dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Finally, we need to talk about the environment. We live in a beautiful village. The crazy density of the housing will detract from the heritage that is this village through the John Clare's poems. Have DWH listened to my favourite stanza? Hilltops like hot iron glisten bright in the sun, and the rivers we're eyeing burn to gold as they run. Well, they will do today, it's pissing down rain, isn't it? John Clare. Burning hot is the ground, not quite. Liquid gold is the air, like grey water. Whatever looks around sees eternity here. Do that again. Whoever looks around sees eternity here. Eternity. Eternity, not of rain, but of community, of space, of countryside, of wildlife, of children. That's the type of eternity that we want here, not a concrete and brick monstrosity that will be here for eternity. Probably not, to be honest. Barratt Homes will fall down in a couple of years. Maybe those dog shits should listen to that poem. What have they proposed to do about the 4 redbird species and the 2 yellow ones that have been surveyed in the field? That field, by the way, has been called and registered as a rich species crop field offering breeding for these birds and overwintering. Is their plan really to say fuck it and bulldozer the bird's nesting site to crap? We have a biodiversity loss of 13% according to the analysis that they have provided. they are apparently promising to provide a 10% increase somewhere else on the planet. Even if we ignore the 3% overall decrease, and we really shouldn't with the ecosystem being pummeled as it is today. But that 10% is not here in Helpston, where we live, where our wildlife lives, where our children play. Here we get bulldozed fields, crushed birds' nests, destroyed habitat, and a totally inappropriate pile of brick and concrete which won't last longer than a lettuce. Honestly, the plan that these one-eyed, grinning ferrets have come up with would have been absolutely fantastic if they didn't do any of the things that they've suggested they want to do. But I'm wet and tired now. I may have had a little too much to drink, and I absolutely should not be drinking anyway. It's going to be a tough night on the loo tonight. Too much detail, too much information. Gotta go. But one thing I have to say. It's time for us all to step up and make our comments on the Peterborough Planning Portal. We all need to make sure that the council knows that we are in opposition to the current plans. Type this into your browser and fill in the form on the official website. You know it by now. bit.ly/Helpston Houses, all lowercase, one word. HELPSTONHOUSES. It's absolute no use in any of us making sentimental or emotional based objections to Peterborough planning, as well. A, they'll ignore them, and B, we must not be seen as a bunch of local NIMBYs. It's going to be difficult, but we need to show that we are taking a well-considered and logical stance here. Remember, LP42 is our friend. Thank you, LP. Thank you, the man who planned and who typed LP42. Thank you, LP42, the man with the plan. This is to you, man with the plan. Over the next few days, and once my headache is gone, I'm going to be posting more videos that you should look out for, in addition to explaining things in more detail, so that your comments can be better made. I'll also do a simple how to submit your objection video. But if you've heard enough, do it now. Type in bit.ly/Helpston Houses. All lowercase, no spaces, you know it. Put it into your browser, fill in that page. Goodbye, people. Lots of love. Signing off. Prem Giani, Helpston. Wet in the fucking rain.